A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." He replied, "What do you wish me to do for you?" They answered him, "Grant that in your glory we may sit, one at your right and the other at your left." Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized?" They said to him, "We can." Jesus said to them, "The cup that I drink, you will drink. And with the baptism with which I am baptized, you will be baptized. But to sit at my right or at my left is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the 10 heard this, they became indignant at James and John. Jesus summoned them and said to them, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. As it has become our most recent custom, the outline for the message today is in your worship aid. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this, although I'm not going to do it every week, but one of the reasons why I'm doing this is we forget 95% of what we hear after the message. I mean, it doesn't even take as long, we don't even get as far as communion. We forget 95% of what we hear, almost as soon as we hear it. So what I invite you to do is take it home, pull it out on Wednesday, refresh your mind, and if you want, every Sunday I'm being filmed now, just go on the website and listen to the message again. So, are we ready? At this point in the gospel, Jesus is turning up the heat. What we have really in our gospel reading today is Jesus' third prediction of his passion. He describes it a little bit differently than the other predictions, and we'll get to that in a moment. But remember, his first call is come and see, come and see. So James and John, they leave everything. And then it's come, follow me. And where he's going to lead them, if they choose to stay, is he's going to lead them to where we dare not go. Come and die. That's where he's leading them. Okay? So if you recall, during the summer months, we had the Bread of Life Discourse. And at the conclusion of the Bread of Life Discourse, many people said, Jesus' teaching is way too harsh. We're out of here. Okay? So then Jesus turns to Peter and he says, and you, will you also leave? And Peter's response is, Lord, where are we going? You have the words of eternal life. There is nowhere else to go, nowhere else for us to turn to. You have the words of everlasting life. Okay? So Peter, James, John, the big three, the ones Jesus is mentoring, he's starting to turn up the heat now, but they haven't bailed. They're staying. Okay? They don't get it yet. Jesus is going to explain it to them for the third time in the Gospel of Mark. We're going to take a look at that. But they stay on board. Okay. So, you have James and John. Now, what is implied in the Gospel is, well, what's in it for me, Lord? What's in it for me? What's the benefit? Many have left. We're staying. What do we get? What's the benefit? Now, initially, we might think, well, how self-centered? That's a selfish question. But it isn't. Because to have buy-in, you need to know what the expectations are. You need to know, what am I getting? If I'm going to say yes, what am I getting? I want to know. So people who check out Corpus Christi, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what is the benefit of being a member of Corpus Christi? That's not a selfish question at all. Because as your pastor, I want buy-in. Okay? I want you to buy in to what we're doing here. And so you have to ask yourself the question, what am I getting? What are the benefits? And some choose to go to St. Nicholas because they like the benefit of being a member there rather than here at Corpus Christi. So it's a question we all ask. It's not selfish at all. Before I sign up, okay, I want to know, what are the benefits? If I'm staying at a resort, or if I'm staying in a hotel, or if I'm going on a cruise, what are the amenities? Okay? So it's not selfish at all. It's part of the Bible. So that's James and John. Okay? So, what's in it for us? For us, we've left behind our family. We've left behind our trade. I almost hear a certain anger. If you're calling us to journey with you in Jerusalem, then what do we get? What's the benefit? So you have James and John, they're scheming to get special treatment. There's a sense of entitlement. They're angling to get a better deal. They want glory. They want to sit at Jesus' side in his kingdom. James and John still imagine. Now remember, they're not at full resurrected faith yet. They're not there yet. They'll get there, and they will lay down their lives. But they still imagine that Jesus will be a powerful earthly king ruling over an independent and free Jewish people. So Jesus corrects James and John's misconception. They desire glory, and so Jesus uses this opportunity to explain again, the third time in Mark, Christian discipleship, which is not the way of the world. So basically Jesus says, you want to be great? You want glory? You can be great. And the glory is all yours. But let me define it for you. And Jesus defines glory. The cup that I drink, you will drink, if you stay with me. And with the baptism with which I am baptized, you will be baptized. In other words, taking up the cross. Discipleship is taking up the cross. So the mark of a disciple is cross-bearing. And what is involved in cross-bearing? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to give Christ first place in my life. So an example that I like to use is I know that there are some Christian individuals who refuse to have a computer in their home. And the reason why they refuse to have a computer in their home is because they're afraid that they may go to the dark side. So they're doing whatever it takes to make Jesus Christ first place in their life. We heard in the gospel reading a couple of weeks ago, if your eye is your problem, pluck it out. Don't take that literally. It means doing whatever it takes to make Jesus Christ first place in your life. And then he goes on to say, around discipleship, without a cross, there can never be a crown. Without a cross, there can never be a crown. The standard of greatness in the kingdom is the standard of the cross. Okay? So he has turned up the heat. Jesus further defines what it means to be cross-bearing. Whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. So this desire to be the king of the mountain, this sense of ambition that we all have, God designed us that way. Ambition is a good thing if it's channeled right. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. So remember when I gave the State of the Parish address 2 weeks ago, and I began the State of the Parish address by talking about a survey that was taken among 1,000 churches in America, and that 10,000 members were interviewed. The members, so the question was, what is the purpose of the church? So 89% of the members said, all eyes on me, the church is about serve us. Serve us. The purpose of the church is to take care of the members. It's about us. Serve us. Whereas 90% of the pastors who were interviewed from those congregations said, the mission, the purpose of the church is about service. The purpose of the church is to make a difference. The purpose of the church is go and make disciples and love God and love others. Now, there are 5 purposes to the church. The second purpose is connect. And one of the reasons why I want us to get into small groups is because one of the purposes of the church is to care for one another. So I don't want to downplay, but there are 4 other purposes as well. No wonder we're not as effective as we could be. Because the leadership, the pastor is going this way, the membership is going this way, and we're passing each other like 2 ships in the night. So we need to get in alignment around the vision, which is service. Going out into the world. Okay, so for the disciple, greatness, glory comes in service. It's cross-bearing. Here's why it's cross-bearing. Because it's not about me. It's about serving the needs of others. And as I mentioned last week, giving, financial giving, giving Christ, giving God, the first cut. Is a way that we break, not the leftovers, it's the way that we break the grip of materialism. Serving others is how we break the grip of it's all about me. It's how we break the grip of egoism. When Jesus says, "But it shall not be so among you," he is inviting us to rethink how we are living our lives. We are never there, having arrived at Christian perfection with nothing more to do. We're never there. The message of Jesus consistently calls us to what? To go deeper, question more, and change our behavior to more closely match the Master. But it shall not be so among you is perhaps the biggest challenge of today's gospel. And why is that? The gospel is calling us not to settle, not to accept business as usual, not to accept injustice as the way things are, not to justify our flexible morals with the mantra, everybody does it. Okay? So, here are the questions that are implied in today's gospel, and this is your life direction for the week. Ponder these 3 questions. For what purpose do we do what we do? What are we living our lives for? Who are we going to listen to? So here are some things that I wrote down. For what purpose do we do what we do? Are we seeking the golden ring? But it shall not be so among you. the life of retirement and leisure, but it shall not be so among you. Do we want to be the most important or admired person in the room, but it shall not be so among you? Is personal glory the goal, but it shall not be so among you? What am I living my life for? What I mentioned yesterday, am I living my life for possessions, for a pile, but it shall not be so among you? Or am I living my life for people? Am I living my life for riches, but it shall not be so among you? Or am I living my life for relationships? And then what I said last week, who am I going to listen to? Madison Avenue, but it shall not be so among you. Or the Master. Who am I going to listen to? Culture, but it shall not be so among you. Or Christ. The world, but it shall not be so among you. Or the Word. Now, a message that I'm working on, and I'm anticipating the day that I'll be able to roll it out. I'm just waiting for the readings to work with it. But I'm putting together, I'm designing a message around why it's important to be a part of God's family, why it's important to be a part of the church, and what are the benefits? What are the benefits of being a part of God's family? What do we get? What do we get from being a member of God's family? And I've come up with 5 benefits. I'm going to share one with you today. And the benefit is, a benefit, and I think this is important because you will hear from people, I don't need a church. I don't need God's family. I'm spiritual. Okay? I'm spiritual. I know there's a God. I'm spiritual, but I don't need a family. I don't need a family. I can do this on my own. I can't. No more power to them. But a benefit of belonging to a church family is that the church will help me find my place to make a difference. To make a difference. We were made for greatness. We were made to glorify God. We were made to make a difference. We were made for excellence. And we were created with the desire to aspire, a need to succeed, to make a difference in the life of others and in the world. We were not created, people of God, to take up space, breathe air, use up the earth's resources, consume, and then die. We were created, we are created for service, our highest calling. So perhaps, I don't know, because I haven't been there yet, but perhaps we will be asked a couple of questions when we see God. What did you do with the stewardship of your life? How did you use your life? To serve others? To make a difference? To give back? To make a contribution? Now you can begin to see how Jesus turns up the heat. So this is why I'm encouraging, I'm going to do 2 shout-outs in a minute. But this is why I'm really encouraging, as I mentioned to you 2 weeks ago, around the state of the parish of Christi, to get into our class system. And I really want you to get in because Class 301 is Grow With Me, Discovering My Ministry. It is designed to help you discover your unique shape, your God-given shape. There's only one of me. And God has given me a mission. And if I don't fulfill that mission, I go into eternity with that mission undone, incomplete. He's given each one of you is unique. Each one of you is fearfully and wonderfully made. God has given each one of you a purpose that only you and no one else can fulfill. A ministry that only you and no one else can fulfill. And the church is here to help you discover your shape. Now, real briefly, as spiritual gifts only belong to the baptized. If one is not baptized, they do not have spiritual gifts. Spiritual gifts are for the church, not for the individual. Age, heart. So Class 301, we walk you through a process. Heart. Where's your passion? A, abilities, natural abilities that we all have, the baptized and the non-baptized. Personalities. I'm a high introvert. I'm the Myers-Briggs. That's why I take Mondays off so I can restore the battery, get recharged. Okay. Also, we all have a unique personality. Eeyore, that's an enduring, shall we say, an enduring nickname that I carry with me. And people usually say, come on, Eeyore, come on, Eeyore. But God uses our personalities. He uses our unique personalities to do his mission. And experience, especially our experience around pain and suffering and hurt, how we can help other people. So here are the two shout-outs. The first shout-out is, first of all, if we're breathing, we have a mission. And the first shout-out is Marie Landry. And very much involved with youth ministry. Now, she stepped out of that, and she is very interested in serving our faith community as a Stephen minister. So as long as we are breathing, we have a mission. God is not finished with us yet. Marie Landry is a poster child of making a difference in our community, poster child for ministry right here at Corpus Christi. The other shout out was a young person. So I was at the Elisa Miguel football game with our youth minister, George, and it was homecoming. So we couldn't find a seat on the Elisa Miguel side, so we went, to the visitor side for the first half, and then we came back on the other side to watch halftime. And as I'm wearing my blacks, as I walk past people, I hear them whispering, "Who was that masked man?" But anyway, so I'm looking at George, and I said to George, "See, if we want them to come to our liturgy, we have to go to their liturgy. But I want to make a difference. I want Corpus Christi to make a difference in our community. As I've mentioned to you many times, if we went out of business today, if we shut our doors today, would anybody, other than us, would anybody know? Would anybody care? Service. So the second shout out goes to Jojo, who plays defense. What is it? What is your position? Nose guard. There you go. Number 50. Okay, out there. But what does he do? He leads the team in prayer. He leads the team in prayer. Youth leadership, making a difference. So as long as we are breathing, whether we're 1 to 92 is the Christmas Carol. So whether we're Marie Landry or Jojo will be here, we're all called to do something to make a difference. All right, let's profess our faith.